Sorry, here I'm back. I did actually wind up reading a little bit of Chosen. I do like it. I wish I would have like revamped myself or like made myself a little bit more familiar with Slayer. I remember I really liked Slayer. So this is set in the aftermath of the Buffyverse, right after. I think they said it's like right after season 8, which I've never actually read, but they were able to like caught me up. So you follow these two twins, Artemis and Nina, and Artemis, or Nina, I guess. Artemis is named the last Slayer due to something that Buffy did. And the tail end of this book led to a lot of drama. An angel and Buffy type relationship kind of developed, which I'm sure will be seen in this book. But now they're in a very different type of situation because her twin sister is away on an adventure. Her boyfriend is no longer in the picture. I won't give two spoilers, but he's no longer in the picture. Um, so she's kind of trying to go into her Slayer thing and trying to make the world a better place. And she's kind of inviting all these half demons into the Watcher Academy, which is where she grew up. Her and her mom have a very contentious relationship. But like Buffy, I love the gang that they've developed. I love Scylla, I love Riss, I love all the other characters that they have that kind of develop the world. I think that is definitely the strongest point of this book because my favorite part of Buffy was the gang, was Willow and Xander and Anya and Cordelia. So I really like that they do have a small gang and it's a very diverse group of people. They have some LGBTQ representation, which I was a big fan of. You also do see characters from like the Buffyverse. You hear about Faith and you hear about Buffy. You hear about Giles. So you do hear about them, and I think you saw Buffy in the first book if I'm remembering correctly. But it kind of reads like I'm reading a Buffy TV show, and this is the perfect book to pick up. So I'm really excited that I wound up picking it up. And hopefully this will kick my slump in the butt. Which I've been very slumpy the past couple of days, I'll say that. I really wanted to read some historical fiction, but I also know that if I don't read my creepy books now, I'm gonna have to put them off for another year, or like at least like not read them right now when I want to read that. So yeah, I will check in with you guys tomorrow when I come home from work. I am still listening to Don't Look Back by Jennifer Armentrout. I am going to stick this book in my bag along with The Invisible Library, but I think I'm pretty much set for this one. And also, her and Artemis right now are in two different locations. I mean, yeah, her and Artemis are in two different locations. So their sister bond is being tested in a lot of unexpected ways, which I always like twin dynamics. I say that so much in these reading blogs and just general updates. I love books that have twins. That was a weird update, but I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye. It's Laurie here. I'm back. I just got home from work. It's almost 5. But I did want to say that I did wind up listening to a podcast when I was working today. So I didn't actually wind up getting any audiobook listening in. But I am going to try to do that either later today or tomorrow when I come home when I'm working out. But I am pleased to report I did make a little bit of progress on Chosen by Kirsten White. This is the direct sequel to Slayer, and I will admit I'm a little bit hazy on the details in the first book because it's been about 2 years since I read it. But I am slowly getting back into the world. We have had some such fun Buffy cameos in this book, including some of my favorite side characters, which I really love. But you follow Nina. Nina is the Slayer incarnate. After book 1, she's dealing with a lot of things. She basically turned the Watcher's Council Castle into a Wayward home for hurt and lonely demons. That's what it says in the back, and I think that's like a nice tagline because from first book to second book, a lot has changed. And she's also without her sister. Her and Artemis are on two very different paths. And it's very interesting. There's a lot of complicated sister dynamics. I love the rough and tumble fighting. It kind of reads like I'm reading a Buffy season, probably like not like a Buffy episode because I think it's a little bit longer than that, but it's definitely like a Buffy season, like beginning, middle, and end, and I'm really enjoying it. I definitely do next year want to do a reread of Slayer and Chosen. I'm gonna look it up. I'm not sure if there will be a second book or a third book, but I do love her reimagining of this world. I think it's super fun, and it's the perfect book to kind of kick my slump. I was very slumpy like this weekend, so I'm happy that I picked up something else. And a couple of friends did give me a couple of other recs in that pile of books that I had. So I think I'm gonna read something kind of in the same vein. But I'm going to go for my bike ride. I also did get my Owl Crate, which is the Addie LaRue box that I will unbox when I come home. But yeah, I'm definitely not as tired as I was last week, which is good. So I will talk to you guys when I come back. Bye. I'm back. It's actually almost 7 o'clock. I just wound up working out, going for a quick bike ride. I listened to my Mugglecast podcast, which is my Monday tradition. I always listen to it when I get home because it goes live like when I'm at work. But I am up to page 121 in Chosen by Kirsten White. My goal is to get up to page at least 150 before I stop reading, which I think is definitely doable. I might read a little bit more. I'm actually feeling much more awake than I did last week. Still really liking this. I'm loving the twin dynamics. I'm loving being back in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer world, even if it's told from a different point of view. But I like Kirsten Wright's writing. I especially like how she writes the Buffyverse. I think it's really, really fun, really, really cool. I would not be opposed to YA novels featuring the original characters because those are definitely my favorite. Willow, Xander, and Buffy are my favorite. But I am really liking these characters as well. They kind of remind me of the second version of the Scooby Gang, and it's super fun. So, and there were some Harry Potter. There was some Harry Potter mentioned in this book, like some like little subtle things. But again, this book was written before that was like persona non grata in reads ever since J.K. Rowling's horrific comments. So I found that to be funny. And for the record, I don't support J.K. Rowling anymore. I don't. But I do love Harry Potter. I will always be a Harry Potter fan. And to me, seeing it in the book is just a reminiscent of the series that I love. So I still smile when I see those references. I still call myself a Hufflepuff. I still call myself a Thunderbird. I still love Harry, Ron, Hermione. I still love that series. I think it's great. And it's a part of our consciousness, so I'm not going to stop talking about a series that I love just because the creator makes some really, really bad decisions. But I will be cautious about what I support about her in the future. Just a little my take on that. And if you don't like that take, that's okay. If that's your take, that's fine. But that's my take on how I'm choosing to support J.K. Rowling in the future. So I'm going to go back to reading, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. It's Lori here. I'm back. It is 8:13. I didn't want to achieving my goals. I wound up getting up to page 150 in Chosen by Kirsten White. I am really liking this book. I think I like this book a little bit better than the first one, if I'm remembering it correctly. We did get a massive cameo in this book from the Buffy series, which I was not expecting at all, and I really enjoyed it. There was one plot twist that I totally saw coming, but I also think it happened in the last book, but I think the character's just learning about it now. But I love this world. I really love the Buffy the Vampire Slayer world. It reminds me a little bit of like the Mortal Instrument world, but with fewer supernatural creatures. But I just love it. I am still hoping one day we will get a Willow cameo. She's my favorite character in all of the Buffyverse. But yeah. I'm going to go back to reading and hopefully read another 50 pages before, and then I'm going to stop reading at like 9 and go watch some TV. But I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Hey guys, Lori here. I just got back from work. I did wind up working out, but I did want to do a quick update. I did wind up reading a little bit more of Chosen. I'm now on page 237. I'm still really enjoying this book. I think that if I would have reread Slayer, and I think I would have re-solidified myself in this world, I think I would probably give this book like 4 or 5 stars because I'm really enjoying it. I'm loving the characters. I'm loving the relationship. Again, it's definitely different characters than the Buffyverse. Like, it's kind of set after season 8, I think. I think that's what people say. I think it's set after season 8, the comics, which I did not read, but I felt like the first book did a good job of like kind of fleshing it out. And you do get some side character, like you do get some cameos that I'm really enjoying. Not my favorite character as of yet, but I am really liking the dynamics between the characters in this book. There's sibling elements, which was not featured. Well, it was. There was a sibling relationship. But I always love twin dynamics. There's that. There's a watcher element. And it's just so fun. I really have always loved how Buffy treated the demon community because I thought it was very interesting how they weren't all evil, and I like that. And they're definitely continuing that here. It's very, very fun. Very, very action-packed. Super hard to put down. I didn't wind up listening to my audiobook today. I was listening to some political podcasts, which I think today was Pod Saves the World and The Press Box, which are two that I've been listening to a little bit more recently, just in the lead up to the election, which is very important to educate yourself. This will probably go up after election day, but if it goes up before, be sure to vote. Make sure you're registered, all the fun things. Make sure you are registered to vote. This is probably going to go up after election day, but maybe I'll post it a little bit earlier to remind you guys to vote. Go out to the polls and vote. Go out. The only way your voice is going to be heard is if you make it heard. And anyone that's telling you your vote does not matter is wrong. Go vote. Thank you. PSA. But I am gonna go. I'm gonna do a workout with my dad when he gets out of the shower, and I'm gonna just keep reading. I feel like I have a lot more energy this week, which is good. I didn't wind up watching anything last night, did I? No, I didn't. But I'm gonna hopefully watch some Sabrina tonight. That is the plan. So I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Right here, I'm back. It's almost 7:03. Well, it is 7:03. I did wind up getting up to page 253 in Chosen by Kirsten White. I'm really liking this book. It kind of reminds me that I'm kind of at like the end of a season of like a TV show, which is always what I equate books like this to, but especially like this book because it so feels like a TV show. I'm loving it. I'm loving the character dynamics. I'm a big Buffy fan. Like it's probably one of my top 10 fantasy TV shows, if not the top 2. That and Charmed are my 2 top fantasy TV shows of all time. But I'm loving the gang that we got. That is the one thing I loved about Buffy was the gang that we got. And it's such a different type of gang than we had in previous books. There is a connection to the previous series. Like you do see some smaller characters, I'll say. You did see Buffy in the first book in like a dream. And you did see Faith in like an extended sequence of it. I should have to book and read that. I don't think I ever really read that scene. But I am quite fond of this book. Like a lot. But yeah, I would actually love to finish it tonight. I am on page 253, and this book is 353, so 100 more pages. But I'm going to make it my goal to finish it. I'm going to go get some snacks to partake in my reading, and I'll update you guys when I read another 50 pages. Bye. Right here, it's about 8:30. I did wind up reading to page 300 in Chosen by Kirsten Wright. I'm right at the tail end of this book. I have about less than 50 pages left, so I'm probably going to finish it tomorrow morning at work. We did get to see one of my favorite characters. I have 2 favorite characters in this entire TV series. 3 really on rewatch. 1 has definitely fallen down in my love thing, but I have 2 favorite characters, and we were able to see one. I don't want to give it away, but I have 1 favorite character, and we were able to see that character, so that was super exciting. I really love this book. I think it's great. I'm loving the Scooby Gang elements. I'm loving the characters. I think that it's very interesting. This book or this series, I'll say, did a take on the Angel and Buffy relationship, which I wasn't the biggest fan of that relationship. I much preferred Spike and Buffy, but I think that it did an interesting take on it in this read, and one that I wound up really, really enjoying. But again, it was like a different take. Not necessarily Buffy and Angel, not necessarily Buffy and Spike, but kind of a different take. And it did deal with one of my favorite tropes of all time in paranormal romances, and it's a trope that doesn't get nearly enough love. But yeah, I really like it. It's definitely a series I wish I probably would have read book 1 again. But I think that this is just a duology, so I'm going to check in with you guys tomorrow when I'm finished reading, which won't take me that long. I'll probably finish just on the train ride in the morning. And a nice twist was revealed about the major villain of this season, or this book. That was kind of cool. But yeah, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye. I just got back home from work. It's about 4:50. I do want to say that early this morning, I just got finishing Chosen by Kirsten White. I actually wound up really liking this series. It definitely was a series. I don't think there's going to be another book, but I wound up really liking it. It's definitely a book series I would like to read again closer back to back, because I think I missed a little bit of the first book, but I really liked it. It has some of my favorite tropes. I loved a ragtag group of heroes. I just love the Buffy the Vampire Slayer world, like in general. I like that world a lot. We got some cameos from Buffy characters originally in Buffy, but I also like the new characters that we met and the connection back to the original series. I would give this book 4 stars. I think I like Slayer. I don't know. I would have to reread Slayer to kind of decide which one that I liked better. I did like the elements of this book a lot. I thought it was really, really fun and very, very captivating. So I wound up giving this book 4 stars for review. I also wound up listening to a little bit more of Don't Look Back by Jennifer L. Armentrout, right into the part where the book kind of seems a little bit paranormal, which I always like. I always like when the book kind of tricks me. And I just read the first chapter of The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. I was a little bit distracted on my commute home. But I am going to go do a quick workout. And then I'm going to probably just spend the rest of the day reading. I also watched 2 episodes of Julia and the Phantoms last night, and I'm really, really enjoying that show, like, quite a bit. So I might watch a couple more episodes tonight. I do want to watch an episode of Sabrina. That didn't happen yesterday. But I'm going to go work out, and then I'm going to go read The Invisible Library. And it's not that long. It's only like 300 pages. I got this, I think, at my first ever, or maybe my second ever New York City Comic Con. I can't remember which one it was. But it was like one of my first conventions I ever went to. This is a book I got for free. And now I think there's like 5 or 6 books out. I really struggled with the Library of the Unwritten. I struggled a little bit with this, but I'm hopeful that this book may be a little bit different, like dynamic wise. So yeah, I'm gonna go work out and I'll check in with you guys when I read, maybe up to page like 50, because I feel like I'll know a little bit more about it. I'm only on page 16 right now. Talk to you guys in a bit. Lori here, it's 6:35. I did wind up going for an unexpected bike ride. It was a little bit rainy, but I still made a dent. I worked out. When I last left you, I was 16 pages into The Invisible Library. So far, I like the writing style. I don't know much about it. I know it has to do with a library spy, which sounds cool. So I'm going to go read. Hopefully I'll get up to page 50, and then I'll be able to give you a little bit more of my thoughts. But yeah, off I go. Flurry here, I'm back. It's almost 8 o'clock. I did wind up reading to page 50 in The Invisible Library. This book has been on my TBR for so long. So long. I'm really liking it. I think it's a very, very easy world building. Basically, you follow this character named Irene, and she works for the library, and she has a couple of jobs. One of her jobs is she has to, like, go get words from each of the alternative universes, and then some of her things she has to go collect books. And the book starts off and she's set on a mini mission to go get something. And she's really hopeful that because she's been in the library so long that she can work on these secret projects that she has. We don't quite know what it is yet. But she winds up being sent on a matter of like national security, I'll say. I think that's kind of where it is. But she winds up teaming up with a new student for the library. And I love books that have like a boy and girl team up, especially when it's like not in modern day. I would say this is more closer to modern day, but the worlds that they go into, or the multiverses that they go into, are a little bit different. But I like that it's a very much it has a lot of different magic systems in it. It has werewolves, it has dragons. So I'm really liking that, and I like when characters have to go undercover in time, almost like time travel. I think that's super unique and different. So I'm going to try to read about 50 more pages and see if I can at least get that done. But yeah, I'll update you guys when I read about 50 more pages or before I go to bed. That's my goal, but I hope to read 50 more pages. Bye guys. Lori here, I'm back. It's much later. It's like 7:08. I did wind up doing a bunch of prep work when I got home. I don't normally do that, but Google Classroom, sometimes it's like you have to schedule all your posts, and I just have yet to figure out if I want to do it in the morning every day at work or if I want to schedule them out. It's just a lot. But during my commute, I did wind up getting up to page 112 in The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. I'm still really enjoying it. I find it to be a super fun read. I definitely like the dynamics between the characters. Stuff getting a little bit twisty. I really was more focused this afternoon on trying to get home and get my work done. That's the thing about me. I just tend not to be able to procrastinate, and when I feel like I have work to do, I don't get to have fun. So I'm actually going to finish reading this tomorrow. Today is debate night in America, if you don't live in America. So I think I'm going to pick up one of my historical romances that I had my eye on, and I might just read that kind of in the background. I never really listened to anything during debate night because I'm more focused on the debate, but I don't think I could focus on this right now because it's a little bit more of a high fantasy read. So I'm going to go tackle that, and if I do remember, I will update you guys. I will try to, but honestly, I'm a little bit tired, and I'm probably going to be focused more on the debate. But this will get read tomorrow, and I hope to make some substantial progress on it on tomorrow on my commute to work and from work. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Here I'm back. It's 5:25 on October 23rd. I just got home from work. I actually didn't wind up listening to anything today. I just wound up binge listening to the soundtrack of Julie and the Phantoms, which I just finished like 2 days ago. I love that show so much. So adorable. It's like the perfect feel-good show that we all need. It's great. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm really excited to chat through that in my October-November wrap-up. But I get a little bit reading done for The Invisible Library. I'm now on page 163, which I think is about halfway done. It's a very interesting read. I'm liking the world building. I'm liking the characters. It's fun. It's very, very captivating from like page 1. It's very, very fast paced, very, very adventure-y. The world building is like a combination, like it's like a combination of a bunch of different elements, but I'm really liking it. I really hope to finish this book this weekend at some point, and when I'm done with all my errands, which actually are a few. There's some school, there's some like buying stuff. I have some baby showers I have to attend. So I'm just gonna kind of organize everything. But yeah, so I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna organize everything. I have to do some stuff for work, like I always do. But yeah, so I'm gonna go do that, and then I'll come back when I'm done with my errands, and we'll chat through what I hope to do this weekend. Bye, guys. Sorry, here I'm back. I did wind up doing a bunch of stuff this morning because my yoga class got pushed, so now I'm gonna be doing yoga at home, which is definitely not my favorite way to do yoga, but I still get to take yoga class. So I'm really excited. I am in the middle of reading The Invisible Library. I'm about 150 pages in. I was going to do a little bit of video prep for November, and I think I'm going to do that after yoga's over. I want to kind of plan out my TBR, figure out what I want to read for the rest of the month. We are heading into Creepy Week or Halloween Week, and I always like to pick some creepy reads that I'm going to tackle. Some of them I'm kind of pulling from my TBR, some of them I'm kind of not. But then I'm also going to plan my November TBR, which is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to kind of read some different genres. I'm going to also kind of choose the books I want to read before the end of the year, and kind of make that a video idea. So I'm just kind of planning what I want to do for November. I am also this year going to do kind of what I did last year, a form of Bookmas, but my Bookmas will probably start like the week of Christmas, and I'll probably do like a month, maybe like 20 videos or something. That just kind of recaps the year, because I always have so much content for the recap of the year, and I want to be able to give those videos just for you guys, and not just rush them out, because I actually have a lot of videos I do want to do throughout the year. I have about quite a few. I also want to do some reading vlogs. I always do a reading vlog where like it's the end of the year. I always do a Christmas reading vlog. I always do the Christmas romances and stuff like that I get. So I'm really excited to plan those videos out. It just takes a bunch of time. But yeah, so I am still reading The Invisible Library. I am gonna, once I finish this, hopefully it's soon, I'm gonna pick one more book to tackle this weekend. I think it's going to be Deck of Ohms by Christina Lynn Herman. It's actually right over there, but I didn't wind up getting it before I sat down for the day. So yeah, or to film this little clip. So I'm going to go to yoga, and when I come back from yoga, I'm going to probably like take 20 minutes and kind of plan a couple of videos out that I want to film, and then I might want to film a couple, but then I'm just going to kind of spend the rest of the day reading. I'll be very, very honest with you. It's been a very stressful couple of weeks with school just because everything keeps changing. But I'm also forcing myself to kind of take a big step back and just kind of enjoy what I have and just kind of relax. But yeah, so I am going to go get ready for yoga, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Sorry for the weird angle. I just finished yoga, but I am going to take a couple of minutes, and I'm going to kind of plan my November TBR and the rest of my TBR for this month and possibly the rest of the year. So I'm going to go do all that organizing, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Hair. Sorry, I have been talking a lot. That is the problem with working. I talk like 80% of my day, maybe even 90% of my day. I talk a lot because I'm a teacher. You've been following me for like a while. The first 2 years that I taught before COVID hit, I like would lose my voice like every other week because I would talk so much. And also, the one thing that's a little bit different nowadays is that I'm not in a space that my voice needs to project super big, because I'm in like classrooms. All the classes I teach currently are in classrooms. That's not the case. Normally I teach in like a theater. But I still need to talk a lot, and sometimes my voice gets a little bit wonky. I'm not sick. At least I don't think I am. I'm starting to lose my voice again. But hey, it's almost November, and I haven't lost my voice once from yelling, so that's good. Smaller class sizes tends to eliminate that problem. But I did want to say that this is not the book I need. Ooh. But I am going to make some progress on The Invisible Library. I would love to finish this book today. I said that previously. I did wind up choosing my November TBR. Now I'm going to film my wrap-up part 1, and then I think I'm going to film my November TBR. My November TBR is pretty much set right now. Physical books anyway. I added a couple like ebooks that I probably will talk about in the video as well. But I'm going to give myself an hour to film 3 videos. I'm going to see how long it takes me. Actually 2 videos. I can't film the other one because it's still a little bit early. But I'm going to go do that, and then I'll probably be ready to go read for a bit. I have a bunch of YouTube videos to listen to. But yeah, so I will talk to you guys when I start reading, hopefully. Bye. Here I'm back. I did go for a bike ride because I was waiting for a video to import. But now I'm going to kind of dive into The Invisible Library. I was able to film my November TBR, which I'm really excited about that I was able to film. I still need to film my October wrap-up part 1 and part 2, but I might wait until tomorrow to do that or later in the week because the month's not quite over yet. But yeah, I'm going to dive into The Invisible Library. I'm on page 150, which is about 50% done. Still really liking it. It's definitely a fast-paced novel. I think I'm liking it more than The Unwritten, Library of the Unwritten, which I struggled a little bit with. So yeah, I'm going to tackle this. I left off kind of at like a weird spot, so I want to read a little bit more and then give you guys my full thoughts. But I will talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. It's Lori here. I'm back. It is about 3 o'clock. I did wind up getting up to page 200 in The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. Really happy that I wound up picking up this book. It definitely is a fast-paced read. I think that there's a lot of mental gymnastics that Irene has to do to kind of like solve some mysteries, and I feel like there's not enough red herrings for the audience to kind of pick up what Irene is figuring out, because she's making some big claims or big, like, she's solving some mini mysteries, and I'm like, I don't know how you're solving it, if that makes any sense. But again, this is a world that I'm not super familiar with, and she's doing a pretty good job at explaining the big things, but some of the smaller things, again, there's a lot of different races. There's fae, there's vampires, there's warlocks, so there's a lot of different races that are present in this world. I do like that it's very focused on reading and literature, and I like how their mission is not necessarily to save the world, but is to save these books, and I think that that's kind of an interesting premise. I read a historical fiction book, I think it was last year. It was like Words on Fire. I must have read it last year, yeah. That I wound up really enjoying, that had a very, very similar like smuggling element, and it's not the same as this, but again, reading in books is at the heart of it. So I'm gonna read another about 50 pages, and I will update you guys when I can. Bye. Thanks for checking back in. It's about 4:08. I did wind up getting up to page 260 in The Invisible Library. It is definitely a fast-paced thriller, I'll say that, like with some supernatural elements. I will say it's not the clearest one. There is like a lot of like jump skips, like something will happen and it really won't be explained. So it's definitely a book you have to pay really, really close attention to. And I think that the pacing and the writing style are just not my favorite. But I really do like the characters. I think it's a fun read. I like that the library and the reading is at kind of the heart of it. So I'm going to go read another like 50 pages, and then I'll probably update you guys again. Talk to you guys in a bit. Lori here, I'm back. Hey, Lori here, I'm back. It's about 4:38. I did actually wind up reading another 50 pages. I'm on page 300 in The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. I am liking this book. I'll say what I'm liking and what I'm not liking. I'm liking the characters. I think the characters are fun. I think the setup is fun. I like that it's like an adventure story with libraries at the heart. I like that there's, different worlds. I like that there's a bunch of different characters. The characters are super fun. The one thing I'm struggling a little bit with is the pacing of it and how things happen, but there's really no buildup. They just kind of occur. So it's very much like a fast-paced story, but I feel like it's like a little bit more confusing than I would like. I'm struggling with the pacing and I'm struggling with the structure, but I like the characters and I like the world building. So definitely right now it was like a 3-star read for me. So I'm going to go read the last 29 pages, and then I'm going to kind of decide what I want to do. If I want to keep this reading vlog going, or if I want to do a 24-hour reading vlog, which has only reading historical romances. I've been really craving them, I'll be honest, but I was trying to hold off until November. And I did pick my weekly TBR for the You can't see it because it's like behind my shoulder. But I did pick a lot of creepy books to read next week, so I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about that. So yeah, I'm gonna go finish The Invisible Library, and then I'll come in and give you guys my thoughts, and then I'm gonna kind of like decide what I want to do reading wise for the rest of the reading vlog. I didn't like do a weekend TBR because I was a little bit unsure, and I was I finished my prepping a little bit later last night. So I'm gonna go finish this, and then we'll kind of check in. Bye. Lori here. I'm here to wrap up this reading vlog. I just want to wrap up the 2 books I finished reading and the 2 DNFs that I had during this week. I wound up DNFing A Night of Passion, which is a historical romance novel. Wasn't my favorite. I wound up DNFing. I read about a half of it, and then I just was not motivated to read the rest of it. I also DNF'd The Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hackwood. I got about 150 pages in. I will admit I was intrigued, but wasn't intrigued to keep reading, so I wound up DNFing this one. And the 2 books I finished this week was Chosen by Kirsten White, which is the sequel to Slayer. I wound up really liking this book. Wound up giving it four stars. I really wish I would have reread the first book because I feel like this book would have made a little bit of a better impact. Definitely either going to keep this arc or like just get a physical copy and binge read them in 2022 when I am craving some Buffy in my life. So this one I gave 4 stars to. And then Invisible Library is the book that I just finished reading. I liked it. I didn't love it. I struggled a little bit with the pacing and how the book was structured, and the surprise elements that I really couldn't follow, I'll say that. But I really did like the characters, and I thought the world was super cool. A little bit reminiscent of like all the various types of characters that we kind of see in general, like werewolves, dragons, demons, all that fun stuff. So I really wound up liking that. And I wound up giving this one 3 stars, and I will most likely check out the second book. I think it's called, what is it called? It's called like The Masked City, I think. So that one was interesting. I wound up getting through 3 books, and I'm going to go do a 24-hour reading vlog for you guys. So I hope you guys will check that out once it posted, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye.